If you will, we're going to call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Williston City Council. It is Tuesday, March the 5th, and I would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Good evening. Mayor Goodman,
I'm here.
Council President Jones.
Here.
Vice President Cox,
Here.
Councilmember Martin,
Here.
Councilmember Bullock,
Here.
Councilmember Hines, she's absent. City Manager Terry Bavard, City Attorney Kirsten Ballou, City Clerk Latricia Wright, I am here, and all other staff.
Thank you all for coming tonight. If you will, at this time, please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance by the Mayor.
If you will. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to be here today to do the work that you have given us to do to help our city to run as smoothly as it can. And Lord, I ask you to be with the police department, the fire department, and Lord, all of our city employees that are out there every day trying to do the things that we need done to keep our city running as smoothly and as effectively as we can. I ask you to bless each one of these counselors as they make sometimes difficult decisions. Give them the wisdom that they need and help them to make the best decisions that they can. I ask this in your name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, item number 1 is additions, deletions, changes, or the approval of the agenda. I do know item 2 needs to come off because the student of the month was unable to be here tonight. Other than that, I don't know of anything. Does anyone else? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda as revised.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as advised.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 3 is a proclamation recognizing Irish American Heritage Month from Mayor Charles Goodman.
So I have no microphone, but I got a big mouth. It's from my Irish blood. Is Mr. Jason Fox here? Would Jason Fox please come and see me? Now, Jason, Fox is not an Irish name. What is her name? Okay. I'm used to O'Hara.
O'Donnell.
But I have a proclamation. I actually, if no one else has done it, I suggest you do. Did a little bit of study about the Irish coming to America. And it was very enlightening. The Irish immigration came as a result of a great famine in Ireland, Maine. And they came seeking to survive. And they came on the ships, many of them, that were used to bring African slaves to this country. And the conditions that our ancestors came to this country were absolutely deplorable. And they have prospered and done great contributions to our country. with the Presidential Proclamation. Call upon the people of the United States to a month-long celebration of the contributions that Irish immigrants have made to the U.S. And whereas the United States and many nations of the world celebrate St. Patrick's Day annually on March 17th in honor of the patron saint of Ireland, and whereas many Irish immigrants came to North America to escape discrimination, inequity, poverty, and famine, and to seek new opportunities. With large number of Irish immigrants arriving in the United States in the 1840s, and within the United States, immigration from Ireland faced discrimination and inequity. And whereas the city of Williston is a safe place for all, where every person feels at home and every person belongs, now therefore be it resolved that I, Charles Goodman, Mayor of the City of Williston, hereby declare the month of March 2024 as Irish American Heritage Month, in witness whereof I have signed my hand and caused the seal of the City of Williston to be affixed on this day, the 5th day of March 2024. I would like to present this to you.
Item number 4 on our agenda is the proclamation recognizing Women's History Month. Mayor Goodman will continue with that, and I would.
Women's history. I feel like I need to get every woman here up, but I'm going to select this with you. If I could, Madam President, could I have you up here? And I'm going to ask Miss Martin next. I'm not going to ask Miss Hines because she is not here. However, I will ask Latricia. Whatever she says, I would like every woman, Brooke, every woman to come up here. Use the microphone.
Please join us up here.
Why don't I have the press here?
Come on, ma'am.
We're not doing anything until you come.
Why?
So just take your time.
Oh, come on, sir.
You won't look good. So I would like to announce a proclamation of Women's History Month. Whereas in March, we celebrate women's history to recognize the countless women in American history who fought for equality, justice, opportunity, and to overcome systemic barriers to full and equal participation in society. And whereas through hardships and discrimination, women have worked to open doors for future generations of girls to become doctors, entrepreneurs, educators, artists, scientists, first responders, service members, trade workers, and much more. And whereas we applaud the many organizations that bring women together to create space for women to develop careers, earn degrees, and take on leadership roles. And whereas more than 200,000 women comprise 16% of our nation's armed forces, and more than 2 million women are veterans, and also the fastest growing segment of the veteran population. And whereas there is still much work to be done, to close the wage and the opportunity gaps that have changed very little over the last 2 decades in the United States, the world's richest economy, women earn 0.82 cents for every dollar earned by a man, and gender parity is not expected until 2081. I don't intend to be here. And whereas despite these obstacles, women continue to march forward. The city of Williston is very capably represented by women in local government and county government. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Charles Goodman, Mayor of the City of Williston, hereby declare the month of March 2024 as Women's History Month. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Williston to be affixed at Williston, Florida, this 5th day of March 2024. Could I get a round of applause for these ladies? And because Deborah Jones is the president of the Council of Williston, I am going to present this to you, Madam President. Thank you, ladies.
On behalf of all the women present, we thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we have public participation. This is a time when anyone who is here who would like to address this council has up to 5 minutes to do so. There's an opportunity at the beginning and there's an opportunity at the end as well. If you would like to address us about something that is not on the agenda, please come to the podium.
If you're on the Ring Central meeting and wish to speak, unmute your mic, speak up now.
I would just like to introduce myself. My name's Charlie Kennedy, and I'm a candidate for the County Commission District 1 seat in Bronson. I graduated Bronson in 1991. Worked in Levy County and the surrounding areas all my life. I'm a third-generation roofing contractor here in Levy County. I own Gainesville Roofing, but it's always been Kennedy Roofing in the past, so the older crowd remembers Kennedy Roofing. That was my grandpa and my dad. I've decided to run for county commission in the Bronson district, and I'll leave a card, and if anybody has any questions, please reach out and give me a call, or I'll be back before election time, and I'll get on the agenda where I'll have a few more minutes to talk. I don't want to hold everybody up tonight, but I did want to come and introduce myself and say thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you have an email?
Yes, sir, I do.
Would you announce that email?
Yes, sir. My email is Charlie, C-H-A-R-L-I-E, Kennedy, K-E-N-N-E-D-Y, the letter number 1 at AOL.com. CharlieKennedy1 at AOL.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. We wish you well. Anyone else at this time?
Good
evening.
afternoon. My name is Mandy Waters. I am a candidate for the Levy County Circuit Court and Comptroller position. I wrote this down because I have 12 years worth of knowledge up here. That's how long I worked at the courthouse, was 12 years. So I will go down a rabbit hole if I don't write it down and refer back to this. So if I may, I would like to refer to this throughout. And then I have something to leave with you afterwards. So I'm here today to tell you about my credentials and my experience. Like I said, I worked at the courthouse for over 12 years. I've moved around the courthouse to learn everything. I've trained for this position all of these years. It's always been the plan. I've always had a passion to be the clerk of court the moment I went to work there. Some of you may remember me working at Perkins State Bank way back when it was Perkins. And my home base was in Bronson. And I would look across the parking lot and say, I want to work over there. And I'd point at the courthouse. Well, here I am, and I've been there a very long time. Growing up, I always wanted to give back to people. I always shared everything I had. I always wanted to help people. I did the same thing at the courthouse. I always wanted to help those that needed help. And in the clerk of court position, you'll run across several people that generally need your help. And I think that's important. So the clerk of court's responsibility, I'm sure most of you know, but those of you who don't, it is a clerk to the circuit court, clerk to the county court, and a clerk to the board. There are several departments in there, and I've worked in every one of them. So the titles that I did hold was felony clerk, county ordinance clerk, recording clerk, public records clerk, tax deed clerk, value adjustment board clerk, finance. I worked in the finance office at times, helping them do things. I also did the board minutes when Shanda wasn't available. Shanda's done it forever. But when she wasn't available, I was able to learn that as well. The clerk's office, there's many departments there, but there are so many divisions in each department. The criminal department alone is a lot. The civil department is a lot. And then, as you know, the finance department is a lot too. And in working in all those departments, I was also able to work with other elected officials. It's very, very imperative that you have a good working relationship with all of those elected officials because you deal with every one of them. Tax collector, for instance, somebody gets a ticket, their license is D6, clerk of court has to report it to DMV because their license is suspended and DMV has to do it on their side. The property appraiser, for an example, you record a deed, it goes to the property appraiser. There's something, you need to have good communication there. I could go down a rabbit hole with that one, but I won't. Supervisor of elections, somebody's a convicted felon. They're adjudicated guilty in court. You got to notify the supervisor of elections because they can't vote. Public defender's office, state attorney's office, sheriff's office is a big one that goes without saying. Clerk of court and sheriff's office works very closely together. I'm happy to say that I've always had a good working relationship with the elected officials and their employees. I think that's very important too. Prior to working at the courthouse, I worked at the bank. I was an admissions coordinator at one of the biggest nursing homes in Gainesville for a very long time. I was one of 12 department heads. I graduated Bronson High School 18 years ago. I know I don't look that old, but that's okay. When I get old, I may not look old. I guess I got good genes. I have such a deep passion for this position, and I want to continue going after my dream. It's not the job title for me. It's not the salary. All those, they're bonuses. I want the job. I want to do the job. I know what it takes, and experience absolutely matters for that position, because if you make a decision on this, it's got a domino effect to something else in everything in that office. With that being said, does anybody have any questions for me?
I have the same question for you. Do you have an email that people can contact you?
It is Mandy Waters 0526 at yahoo.com. I also have this, if I may, I will give it to you. It's got my website on it. My information is on there. There's a QR code. You can get it with your, snap it with your phone. And it tells, it's a getting to know me card. So, if I may.
Thank you, Ms. Waters. We do appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much for
We
allowing
wish
me
you luck
to.
as well.
Thank you.
Again, we're back to public participation. If anyone else has anything to add at this time that is about something that is not on our agenda, this is your time. And hearing none, I assume there's nobody online. We will move forward to item number 4, which is our consent agenda, which is the council meeting minutes of February 20th. They are in your packet for review. If you're in agreement with them, I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda at this time.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion and second. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, we will do updates from staff, board, and council members, and we will start with the city manager.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be brief to give you an update of some of the things we've covered in the past. So just a little update on the South Main roadway here with FDOT. So FDOT has met with their design and planning division and have come up with several ideals. Obviously, the one of redirecting the roadway and purchasing right-of-way and stuff like that is not on the table for this year because it's something that they obviously didn't budget for. However, there are some things that they can do and are planning on doing. Obviously, some striping changes for the roadway, enhancements and what's called delineators for visibility, which they had to explain that to me. But those are the tall markers that stand up and basically will identify that there's an obstruction or a curb there and will direct people away from it. So those are just a few things that they're looking at doing right off the bat that may help us enhance that direction or flow of traffic that will resolve some of our issues, hopefully immediately. Long term, I don't know what they'll do, but it's really going to be up to them. I know as they move and enhance US 27, eventually that roadway will factor in and basically will be probably something will be done to hopefully straighten out that roadway there. The other thing I do have is that to give you an update on the line of credit. So I will tell you this, that, we're looking at going through Seacoast for a line of credit to help us with the construction project at John Henry Park. So basically, Seacoast Bank has the final package from underwriting. They're doing some final tweaks on it. My goal is to have it back in front of the city council by the next city council meeting for your approval, so long as the city attorney doesn't give me a hard time over it. And we're going to get that up and running as fast as we can. I will tell you, House Bill, the 1277, if you haven't kept up to speed on that, their Senate companion bill has not been taken up yet. What that means in legal terms is unless they take it up for discussion, the House bill will die in its current state. So, but remember that's the one that limits our transfers. I will tell you that our transfers are roughly about 16% of our gross revenue out of the utility department. So even if they did come under scrutiny, we're doing very well as far as managing that transfer of our utility gross revenue that we make. So golf cart signs, I'm going to steal a little thunder from the utilities director who's shrugging his shoulders. So they are all up in the northeast section. So they've done a great job in doing that. So currently now we have the southwest and the northeast is up. Southeast is next. And I've been told that basically hopefully by the next city council meeting, that will be done and finished.
That's your goal.
That's the goal. So you will see coming back before you increase from Safe Built. There are help me out there. There are building inspectors. Yes, ma'am. So they've got a increase on their CPI coming up, which you'll see that in form of a resolution come up. And then last, and certainly not least, just to give a shout out to Danny Wallace. As you know, Danny finds stuff for us. And so I think we're very, very close to being done on our truck purchases from GSA. I will tell you that he has found 8 vehicles for us, and we have spent $65,817 for 8 vehicles.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. he found a 2010 Ford Explorer, which is the vehicle I'm driving, for $7,000. By the time it's all said and done, I'll have about $8,500 in that vehicle. One of the vehicles he found was a Silverado pickup truck, 80,000 miles, $12,000. I mean, so he's really kind of hitting them out of the park for us, and I think we're very, very close to having that done. And then I know we have some things on the agenda, so I'll defer to those items as we get up, unless you have some questions of me.
Questions for the city manager at this time? Okay, we will move then to staff. Looking at the back row. Mr. Stiegel.
Yes, ma'am. So I've got a couple of updates concerning a couple of different things. The terminal project, we're moving right along on that. They actually put a lot of the ironwork in for the mezzanine this week, or this past couple of weeks. The stairway is put in, and you can actually see where the mezzanine is going to be. So it's pretty exciting. And then Friday is the first pour for the actual slab. And then Monday is going to be the rest of the pours for the slab. So by, Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, we'll be able to walk, the entire building with concrete in it. So it's pretty exciting. As far as the T-hangers go, the B building fire that we had, we're at about 95% completion of that project. All the sheet metal's been replaced. All of the lights in the building have been replaced. And the last thing that they're going to do is they're actually going to paint the ceiling, so that we don't have to worry about anything anymore for the rest of the ceiling that wasn't replaced. And then an electrical inspection, and then that's wrapped up. I think that's about it.
Okay. Any questions from Mr. Stiegel? Okay. Any other staff member at this time? Nope. Wait till the announcements at the end. I'll go now to the council. Whoa. Any updates needed from the council or questions?
Any more thought on the charter review?
I'd say it's on the burner. Not on the agenda yet, but it's definitely on the burner. I think we're all in agreement. We need to do it. We've heard from our attorney that we do. We need to update. We're out of compliance with some state statutes. We just need to get it done. You got your guy here. How can he be your guy when he was my guy? You stole him from me. He's the one I was going to appoint before.
Can we just let him do it?
Yeah, why not? He's good at reviewing those things. Okay. Oh, I heard somebody. Nope. The only thing I keep getting from people is it has to do with code enforcement. I know Mr. Don is sitting around the corner. I know he's there. I can't see him, but I'm sure he's there. It's about and I look at Laura too, the one that is commercial in the residential area in Southeast. First Ave.
So this case has already been to the board, and it's already accruing fines. There's nothing else for code enforcement to do until they accrue enough fines that we decide to put a lien on the property. But it is a house. It is their homestead, I believe, so we won't be foreclosing. So at this point, we have communicated with him, I would like to say weekly, for almost 2 years. Yeah. And there's nothing left for us to do.
I knew that. I didn't know they were currently being fined.
Yes, ma'am.
I knew they had been in here. I happened to be at the meeting when the man came.
Yeah.
And claimed he didn't know about it and they weren't doing commercial business there. But they obviously are.
Well, we don't know. His son has a commercial business. The man is retired.
Commercial business there. Let's put it that way.
Right. The man is retired, so he doesn't own a business and he's not doing commercial business out of his house. The son does have a commercial business, and it's possible that they're parking the trucks there and maybe leaving equipment, but at this point, it's moot because he's getting fined anyway for having the property out of compliance.
Didn't we tell him he had to put up a fence?
Yes, ma'am.
And has he not done that?
Yes, ma'am. We have a permit for the fence. We had some heartburn over it because I'm really not supposed to give a permit out if you're under code enforcement.
There you go.
But so we went ahead and decided to go ahead and let him do the fence and clean up at the same time. And we had some arguments because he doesn't want his yard fenced in. So we were trying to figure out where the best place to put the fence was. It's been a long haul, but
Yeah.
we're definitely on it.
Right.
But we're just doing the best we can with what we've got there.
Right. And it is better than it was. There were pallets that were higher than the house, and there were stones, yard stones, whatever those things are called, patio stones,
Mm-hmm.
that were on those pallets, and there were 50 or 60 of them. Now
Yeah.
the pallets are there, and a lot of the pallets are gone. So it does look a whole lot better than it did when we first started working on it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I still do hear from people almost daily about it that are in the neighborhood.
So do I.
So, yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah. So that's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
So
and-
I was unaware that they were being fined.
yes, ma'am.
I will let them know that because I don't know if they know it or not.
It's a smaller fine because it was a person who had some hardships.
Right.
So we didn't give him one of the heftier fines, but it is still going to accrue and it's going
Right.
to turn into a hefty fine.
Right.
So
Okay.
thank you.
My next question is also code enforcement related, the building at the top of the hill that we now own that is blighted.
Yes, ma'am. That's actually out of my hands and it's now into the city manager's hands and utilities. So I'll let them.
Well,
fix
then
it.
I'll ask them. Yeah. When am I going to tear it down?
I was hoping to have it down already. I'm in discussions with DOT over the MOT. So once I figure that out, I'll get a better date for you.
Okay. And you'll let us know when you figure
Absolutely.
it out?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Does everybody know what they're talking about MOT is when he just said that? Would you explain that? Why we're waiting for DOT?
So the MOT is when you see all of the barricades and cones and signage out when you come to a construction site.
Yeah.
They're very detailed and very specific in how you lay them out. And because that's such a blinding intersection / multi-entering intersection,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing. So once we get that figured out, then I can give you a date.
True. We'll have to push it inward. Make
Yes.
sure it doesn't fall out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just to add to that, if FDOT does the MOT for us, then we're covered under them and the liability of how it's set up and the way they do their traffic pattern and everything is covered under their responsibility and not ours.
Okay.
They assume liability.
We have the stuff, we could do it, but we would prefer FDOT to do it on 27, their highway, and that way they take all the responsibility, just like they did with us over here.
And I appreciate knowing that because I also get questions regarding when is that building coming down?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it looks
Do
so
we
bad
have
as
do
you
we have
enter.
a time frame of?
I'm hoping this week, but I'm scared to say it out loud.
Is
This-
it okay? Is
Yeah,
it the
this
same-
week's half gone. I wouldn't.
No,
say that.
yes, no, that's what I'm saying, but I'm sure to have the answers this week. I just didn't want to say it out loud.
Answer this week. That would be great.
Is Mr. Upshaw the one we're talking to, or is
Yes,
it-
sir.
Okay.
Mr. Upshaw and Mr. Webster.
Appreciate that update. Anybody else got anything, any question to ask about anything? All right, Mr. Mayor, it's your turn. Nothing on your part?
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay, we will move then to item 7, which is new business. And we have a Florida Municipal Electric Association Restoring Communities Award, Public Works Director Jonathan Bishop and Amy Zubali. Is that right? Clark Close, Executive Director of FMEA. Welcome. Thrilled to have you.
Thank you so much, Madam President, Mr. Mayor, council members. Thank you for having me here this evening. I'm Amy Zubali, the Executive Director of the Florida Municipal Electric Association, which is the statewide trade association representing Florida's 33 public power communities like the city of Williston. In addition to advocacy, and Mr. City Manager, thank you for mentioning HB 1277. That's been one of our primary focuses this legislation or this session, which will end on Friday. But in addition to advocacy, communications, information sharing, conferences and events, FMEA serves as the mutual aid and emergency response coordinator on behalf of our members. So whether it be a significant thunderstorm or a hurricane, FMEA is here to help assist our members in bringing in crews when additional help is needed. We also serve as the liaison between our members and our state and federal partners, whether it be the governor's office, the Division of Emergency Management, the Emergency Operations Center, Public Service Commission. We are here to serve in that role. Excuse me. So during emergency situations, I'm in close contact with these guys, making sure that you all have no unmet needs, and as well as answering a lot of questions from the governor and other entities' side to keep them off of you as well and serve as that liaison. Because of FMEA's role and the number of hurricanes that I have dealt with during my tenure of FMEA, emergency response coordination is something that I'm incredibly passionate about. And every year, FMEA rewards our deserving members with a Restoring Communities Award, which recognizes our member utilities for an exemplary job during emergency situations like significant weather events. And being able to award our member utilities is probably one of the most favorite things about our job, as I was telling the president prior to this commission meeting this evening. And so on August 30th, Hurricane Idalia slammed into the Big Bend of Florida as a strong Category 3 storm. And I'm reminded every time I drive across I-10, which I just did a couple hours ago, of how significantly a lot of people in this state were impacted by that storm. And while the city of Williston may have been fortunate that it did not experience the direct path of that storm, you all were significantly impacted by that hurricane. And thanks to the work of Jonathan and Mike and the entire electric utility, they were prepared. They worked hard and tirelessly throughout the day on August 30th, restoring power to customers quickly and safely. And I believe by the end of the day, all customers that could take power were restored. And the city of Williston needs to be congratulated for that. So great work to you all. It's often said that the primary role of an electric utility is to keep the lights on and the beer cold. And while that is certainly important, I think that the work that these guys do is so much more. And so congratulations to them and to you all and to the entire community of Williston for a great job. And if I could ask somebody to take a picture, we would like to be able to share it on FMEA's social media channels. Is that great?
Donald will get it. He's good.
I think I got to take her here. Thank you so much. Sure.
Yeah. Cut off feet, cut off heads, yeah. And get the city seal in the back?
I'll get out of the way.
Wait. She took a while, but she's coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zuberly. We appreciate you coming. It means a lot. We know how great they are, but it's nice to know that other people know they're great too. We really do appreciate it. And now they have a new motto they can put on the wall. Right? Got to keep the lights on and the beer cold, right? The new motto for today, right? Okay. Item number B is Resolution 2024-23, a resolution of the City of Williston, Florida, electing to use the uniform method of collecting non-ad valorem special assessment levied within the incorporated area of the city, stating a need for such levy, providing for the mailing of resolution, and providing for an effective date. Chief Lamar Stiegel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You have before you tonight a resolution of intent to possibly put a fire assessment in place. This is something that's been in discussion with the city for some time. We've looked at it on several different occasions and opted not to move forward with it. To say it may have put us in a position of kicking the can down the road would be an understatement. If by chance there's certain regulations or a certain bill passes up in the Tallahassee in the next year or so, we could be in a very bad spot when it comes to funding our public safety services. This is something we've looked at in the past. We're one of the few municipalities in this county that do not have a fire assessment in place. I've given you some notes to look at, some comparisons, what could possibly be done off of just the residential homes. And you sort of see what some of the other residents are currently paying. Now, like I said, this is just for inside the city. This is not in the county. We do not pay into the county fire assessment. So that, there's no double dipping there or anything like that. This is strictly inside the city limits for the citizens inside the city.
Okay, any questions for the fire chief? Yes, Mr. Mayor.
So unlike so many other areas, inside the city, we do not pay county fire assessment cost.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I didn't even realize that.
We
I
pay,
thought-
we
I
pay the
thought we did
ambulance
pay.
fee.
I thought we did.
No, ma'am, we pay the ambulance fee. We do not pay inside the fire assessment.
So our safety is strictly ambulance,
Yes, ma'am.
not as part of the fire assessment. Gotcha. Interesting. Okay, so
This is something we haven't had in the past.
No, sir, we've never had it in the past.
and this is a resolution. Tell me exactly what this does, so everybody will know. It's a resolution to send the intent to publish. We've already publicized it
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the paper. So now it's to send it to the state of Florida. Is that right?
I would believe that's
To
correct.
send it to the state of Florida, and to it has another purpose. There was number 2. What was the second thing it does?
So essentially, what this does is, because everyone hates a special assessment, you have to give lots and lots of notice.
Right.
So this special assessment could not go into effect until October 1st, 2025. This doesn't set a rate of the special assessment. All this does is notify that we are going to be using a certain methodology for collecting the special assessment. It puts the state on notice that we will be using that methodology, and it permits us to set the special assessment to begin October 1st, 2025. This does not require you to set a special assessment yet. It doesn't set it at any certain rate. It just says this is how we're going to collect when we do collect, and we intend to begin collecting, we believe, October 1st, 2025.
And between now and then, we have to do a study of some kind.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots more work to be done. This is step one of many.
Yeah.
That is also
And that's
correct.
not what we're talking about tonight.
Not talking about
Okay,
any of
that's
that
what I'm
tonight.
trying to establish.
Yes.
Is this is just step 1, notifying the state that if we decide to do it, this is how we're going to collect.
Correct.
And it will essentially be on the tax bill
Yes.
with the rest of your property tax and ambulance service,
And all
Levy
other
County
non-FLRN
landfill, that sort of
taxes.
thing. It'll be an addition that all the rest of the county currently has that we don't.
Correct.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about, notifying the state that we have intent to collect in this method if we decide to do it, after we do the study that's not a part of this resolution. Somebody got that? Any other questions? From anyone? I see a perplexed look on your face, Albert.
Yeah, remind me again what the average county resident pays.
The Levy County one.
That's what I'm trying.
It doesn't say. The Levy County's.
129.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
129.
Here, pass that. Hang on. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Bronson, Ms. Sue would attest to this. They're at 129. I think they did the exact same thing the county did. Chiefland's at 159. High Springs at 223. Newberry's at 195. And like the Levy County's at 129. Those are residential rates. Now, understanding when these assessments come in place, they're going to come back with a number that would be a full funding number for the fire department.
Right.
And that would be the top end.
And then we choose what we want it to be.
Yep, and you
Anything
could-
less than that.
You could take it down all the way to 25 cents a house if you wanted to.
Okay,
That
so
was
just
one of
no
the
more
things
than
we
the state.
discussed in the past was once we got it in place was even just implementing it to have it if we had to get into a bind or got into a bind to be able to fund some public safety from there.
Okay, so any other questions for the fire chief or for the attorney?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would it be possible to have it be integrated more slowly? Like it would start off at a lower amount and then increase over X number of years to the amount that you want? Is that an option?
What'll come back? They'll come back with a number that will fully fund the fire department. Now, like I said, you could start off charging 50 cents a house if you wanted to, and then move it to $1 a house the next year. But there, you have to do some other studies and things, which ends up costing more money to be able to do that. In fact, the county is currently going through it right now. We're having to turn over all of our data where we run the calls outside the city limits so they can look at redoing their cost of assessments now, or what they charge for them.
Right. I assume that the money that they pay us to run those calls is coming from their fire
That
assessment.
comes from their fire assessment.
Yeah,
Yes,
or part
ma'am.
of it, part of
Yes.
their fire assessment. So, and this is, like I said, just to notify the state that if we decide to do it, this is how we will collect, by using the county's method of collection. So, All right. If there are no other questions, don't know if there are, I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 2024-23.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-23.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item C is Resolution 2024-29, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, establishing authorization for the City of Williston to approve contract work in order to make repairs to a damaged lift station, not to exceed $20,000, and providing an effective date. Public Works Supervisor, Mr. Barber.
Good evening, Council. This right here is in order to maintain a safe and functioning system at Russell. The staff is requesting the Council to approve authorization for contract work. We provided 3 quotes. We believe the lowest and probably the best value is for Coastal Pumps and Supply. It's necessary for repairs and installation of the pumps to Russell Lift Station. It's one of our master lift stations, Acre, Fugit, Russell, and it requires this work to be done in order to maintain functionality. So this is part of massively the plumbing. If you can think of like having a straw and you're trying to launch a spitball across the room and you put a ton of holes into that straw, you have to apply a lot more force. And so what's happening over time with not addressing the condition of these pipes is we're creating more of a burden on the pumps and on the infrastructure in that lift station to the point where we may get to the point where it's not functioning at all. So this basically fixes a lot of those issues that it's experiencing.
I know where Fugit is. Where's Russell?
Russell is down there on Southeast 6th Street and Southeast 5th Ave.
Okay.
And so there's a little tiny hut there that's out there on an easement that we have, and then there's a big DRA next to it. But that's the one that is Russell.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Barber? So it's just in bad repair. Nothing catastrophic happened to it.
We've
other
got some
than it's
clamps
just
and some
not working.
Band-Aids on it. We're just hoping to get it fixed more
Okay.
permanently.
All right. And you see what the cost they think it will be, but this is for up to $25,000. And I asked the question before. I heard that Mr. Bloom was online. I assume we have funding for this. Mr. Bloom is the finance director, by the way.
Hold on just a second. And it's up to 20,000.
20,000.
Yes, ma'am. And if he's not available, I can speak for him.
I know you've had a conversation with him today.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you there, Stephen?
Can you hear me?
Got you now.
Now we can.
Yep, go ahead. We got you now. Go ahead.
Carry on, Mr. Ford.
Hello?
Yes, we have you. Go ahead. I guess he can't hear us.
Okay, I'll be more than happy to fill in. So yes, we did have a discussion with Mr. Bloom today, who has the Madam President Stev was our fiscal director. So to verify that the funding would be in place for the items that are on the agenda tonight, and this one absolutely is. We have it out of our revenue that we generate, funding revenues we generate monthly to fix this, and this will not be a burden on the budget.
Okay.
Well, other than you're spending $20,000.
Yeah.
That's not burden.
Yeah. All right. Having heard that.
Okay, I'm hoping you can hear me. So that the short answer is yes, there's funding for this. Hopefully you hear that.
I sort of hear you.
He said the short answer is yes, you have.
Okay. I'm glad you heard that.
I did.
Oh, good. Okay. So having heard that, I would entertain a motion for Resolution 2024-29.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-29.
Sir? I have a second.
I'll second it, I guess.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution D is Resolution 2024-30, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, establishing authorization for the City of Williston to approve engineering and permitting work orders to make upgrades to lift station number 4, not to exceed $45,000, providing an effective date. Mr. Barber.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam President. So lift station 4, that is located on Northeast 9th Street. It is just north of 2nd Ave. As you go across the railroad tracks, take your second left, and then go up to just beyond 2nd Ave. And that is the lift station that is on some private property. Council about 2 years ago, if we remember, gave Fox Enterprises permission to apply for a community development block grant. And applying for that, there was a problem with the publication, so it pushed it to this year's. We have been approved for that, and we are looking to break ground. One of the things that could not be included in that funding was to upgrade the three-phase power. We're trying to make sure that the lift stations are hardier and not with VFDs, which basically translates single phase into a little bit higher startup, but instead to integrate into our designs a more robust lift station for three-phase power. And so that design has been integrated, but now we have to get three-phase power there. This is not the materials or the crew actually taking the power. Before that, because it crosses railroad tracks, there's a very complicated permitting process and design that has to be submitted. And so, of course, we go through FMPA and FMEA to provide those services through their engineering that we get at a very, a stellar rate. So that's what this proposal is. It's not to exceed $45,000, and this will be FMPA handling all the permitting and all of the things that are required to get that power across the railroad tracks.
Any questions for Mr. Barber?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
You said that this was not for materials. So when you say FMPA will do everything to get that across, you're just talking the paperwork.
I'm talking the permitting and the planning. Yes,
okay, not doing the work.
No, you'll see.
So it does not get it across.
We have a grant for that.
It just makes it possible.
Well, the grant is for the building of the station itself. It's almost $1 million, and in order to get that grant approved, there's repaving of Southeast 10th, Southeast 9th Terrace, Southeast 9th Street. So there's not even money in the budget to build it. But we can't even give you guys a sum on that until this stage is done and it's a design.
We have the permit.
We have a lot of these materials. I mean, this isn't but taking a transmission line over. This isn't, hundreds of transformers or 10 transformers, anything of that nature. But again, we've never run power over the railroad tracks, and so it's just better that an agency that handles this frequently basically be the driver behind that.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 2024-30.
I'll make a motion to approve 2024-30.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item E, Resolution 2024-31, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, establishing authorization for the City of Williston to approve boring installation and permit work in order to supply power to the new City of Williston Municipal Airport, FBO, and not to exceed $25,000, providing an effective date. Mr. Barber, there's where I got my 25 from.
Yes. Yes, Madam President. So this is to hire a boring company, and again, we provided multiple quotes. Many of them are very close to the same. Really, the only difference between many of them are mobilization fees. So we're going to be working with the company that obviously has the least amount of cost. there's a lot of work that the city staff can do, running the lines, running the wire, terminating, hooking up to the transformer. But there are sections of it that, because of the nature of it being the airport and the runways or the taxiways, we do not feel comfortable trying to missile shot, so we want a professional boring company to come out and make sure that there's no issues there. And this would be approximately the cost to have those three-phase power underground through those particular areas.
Okay. Any comments from the airport manager? So if you need power.
Yes, ma'am, we do need power, but I will say one of the reasons that this is the way that it is a lot of these hangars that are being developed on Alpha Taxiway, coming our direction, they require three-phase. So, because of different generators and stuff like that. So, I mean, you're going to have to spend a little bit more to get where we're getting.
Okay, appreciate that. Any questions for Mr. Barber or Mr. Stiegel? Mr. Manager.
So I will add, because I got a text from Steven, so he can't hear us, he can speak, but I'm going to go ahead and speak for him on this one also. So there is funding in our revenue stream, the budget for this. That's no issue as far as funding it. I will tell you this, that our calculations on our return on our investment, by just having our own power and the cost associated with it, it will take us about 13 years to recover this cost, but at 13 years we will recover it. And then from that point on, we'll be saving money and making money. And, and that's just for the FBO. That's not for anything else. Everything else that we put on that, then obviously is going to be beneficial to the city.
Now, for those that are unaware, Central Florida Electric has the power at their airport currently, but because we're building a new FBO and it's a new service, we have opted to put in our own power and do our own service, and that's what this is all about.
Yes.
And we've had a meeting with Central Florida Electric about that. They weren't real thrilled with it to begin with, but they understand that it's something we can do.
They do understand that we can do it.
Yes, they do.
We're not going to end up in a lawsuit.
No. We have emails.
And now we're going to take over the whole road, correct? All the buildings over there.
Well, basically, we can't cross any lines, can't take over anything that Central Electric already has. We have, as the president stated, we have the right to provide services to our own buildings. So any building out there that we build from this point forward, we can provide service to, we will, as long as it's in a specific area that they don't already provide service to. So
we have two others currently that are on the interior of the airport.
Yes.
And I think maybe a fourth that's coming online pretty soon.
Yes.
That we built, the electric department actually pull lines from the 41 side across the airport to get to.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have a meeting with a developer to possibly put in 4 hangars within the next year.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Right on Alpha. So
and as long as it's new service and it doesn't cross their lines,
correct,
we're good to go.
Yeah, it'll be on that run that's from the high school.
Right.
And we're working with them. We're not working against them.
Right.
I will tell you this is that the conversations that we've had is that it's easier if we all work together in order to get where we need to get. And so there is no headbutting. There is nothing. I mean, we've had multiple meetings with Central Florida Electric, and so far they've been very successful in arranging, what we believe will be our service area and what will be their service area. And so far there's been no conflicts. Matter of fact, they were more than happy to provide the temporary power to the FBO construction site with an agreement to remove it once it's we go to full power there. So.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Once these lines are run, if there is further expansion, will there be need to pull or run more lines, or is this set you up with like a central hub from which you can branch out and service all of the future incoming buildings?
So this particular one, like Terry said, is coming towards the FBO. So anything that we put in, moving from the FBO to the lines that could potentially go on these lines. But the big win for the city of Williston here is going to be the developments on Alpha Taxiway, and then on the opposite side of the runway as we continue to progress in the future.
And Alpha Taxiway is the one that runs parallel to the main runway.
I'll show you next Monday.
Yeah.
You'll get the whole
when you
tour.
go on your tour, he'll show you for sure. And there's already 2 buildings on that taxiway already.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if the second one is on electric yet.
Dell's Auto's on, Dell's Auto's with CFEC, and the new one is R Power.
Right. But isn't he putting up a second building? Why did I think he was that?
We're talking about it right now. Yes,
I
ma'am.
thought so. Okay. All right. So, Resolution 2024-31. There are no other questions. I would entertain a motion for approval.
Sure wish we could get it there faster than 13 years, but I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-31.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. I would just make comment that that's if it's just that building. The more we add, the shorter the time will be. Okay. Are there any other comments? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item F, Resolution 2024-32, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, bless you by the way, electing to award the herbicide project to at the Williston Municipal Airport, part of the reforestation project, to McLaren Farms, LLC, DBA McLaren Agroforestry, and authorizing staff to negotiate a full contract related to the same, authorizing appropriate parties to sign any documents required to execute such action on behalf of the city and providing an effective date. Airport Manager Stiegel.
Yes, ma'am. So, as much of the council would remember, last year we passed a resolution to herbicide a lot of the area that was harvested rather, at the airport for, pine trees.
Right.
That amount came to somewhere around $36,000. We did not execute that contract last year because of the way it all played out. If we would have executed that, we couldn't secure the trees in time to plant the trees within their growth cycle. So what the forester decided to do was he made the recommendation to hold off on, doing the herbicide, because if we just went ahead and did the herbicide and didn't plant, then you just have to do it again in the year. So we reached out to McFarland and said, "Hey guys, we're not going to hold on, or we're going to hold off on this, and we're going to have to bring it back in next year." And McFarland said, "You know what? We bid this out. We'll honor our rate even next year." So it's a really good deal, especially since the original bid was like 36,000 and the nearest one was, 100,000.
Wow.
So what this is an addition to that original quote. And the reason we're bringing it to you without the bids is because the addition is less than $25,000. It's about,
I saw the map and I saw the areas that were marked as addition, but I didn't know what it meant until you just did that explanation.
Right. So it's like 9,000 to 10,000 roughly in additional funding to go towards this. But instead of just half of the airport that we've harvested, it's going to get every piece of land that we've harvested thus far.
Wow.
And then we're going to replant everything at one time instead of doing it, in stages.
Piecemeal.
So, that's kind of what this is. We did have, just to say that we did it, we had forestry go ahead and reach out to their other contractors and get some bids. And just for the second phase, not the first phase, but the second phase, the only other person that submitted a bid was for $60,000.
The map, by the way, is on page 50. You want to pull up the map. 60,000 as compared to the 36?
No, as compared to the second bid, to the 9,000.
Gotcha. Wow.
And the reason there's such a large disparity is because of the method of application. So McFarland, what they're going to do is they're going to do aerial application for the herbicide. They're going to come in and within 2 days, with a helicopter, just come in and spray everything, crop dust everything. And the other guys were planning on bringing in dozers and, all kinds of equipment to make roads and rows so that they could, get their equipment in and spray properly. And it's a lot easier to do it with a helicopter, or a crop duster where you don't have to worry about the terrain. So that's the reason for such a large disparity.
Okay. And the areas in the circles are the ones that were added, if I remember right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I asked this question last time. I don't remember. Is this the same chemical that's going to kill all them live oak trees as well? Did you ever find that out?
I did, and yes, sir, it will. It's unfortunate, but it's.
Yeah, I'll say War Eagle because that's what happened in Auburn. They killed all the oak trees in downtown Auburn. From Alabama fan.
I was told that there's a possibility, if they're a little bit more robust, that they could survive, but more than likely,
yeah,
they will not survive. If they do, they won't.
They won't be the same.
And there is no chemical, I'm assuming, that is friendly for the live oaks, or you can't make a buffer.
Not that I'm aware of, no, sir.
Wow.
Did you say they were going to clear off the rest of these trees now, and they're replanting all at once?
Yes, sir. So what we have harvested to this date, the plan is to spray all of it. Initially, we were going to break it down into 2 phases, and since we're moving into this year, we're just going to do it all at one time. So we still have land on the airport that's ready to be harvested. I'm actually going to be bringing some of that back later this year to the council for approval and all that. But we still have plenty of land that has trees that's ready to harvest. This is specifically for the replant areas that's happening this year.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I think the one I have, Benton, is that these areas that are going to be harvested, is there like a high population of oak trees, or are they planted pines already and maybe there's just an oak tree in there, or
Yeah.
what?
Some of them, specifically the area behind Monterey Boats, had a decent oak tree population, and when they planted, they went around the oak trees to plant their lanes. And so 20 years of growth on pine trees plus 20 years of growth on those oak trees, they're really good looking oaks, and we hate to see them go, but it's just part of it, unfortunately.
The areas that we're spraying, though, is there a high population of oak trees in those areas?
I mean, I wouldn't say high, but I mean, there are some oak trees out there.
So how much more would it cost to go around the oaks?
You can't if you're spraying.
I mean, just in the Monterey Boat area.
But
the ones behind Monterey Boat.
You can't if you're spraying. It's
you can't in a helicopter.
Right.
But if we told them to do that portion in another method,
we'd probably have to go back out to bid because you'd be looking at the other guys' bid to do that section.
And even if we just left that section out.
I would imagine so. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Fuller, I know you're kind of an expert on this, so I was hoping you'd chime in here.
The reason for the difference is definitely because the other companies were going to spray on the ground and they can be selective.
Yep.
But this company is aerial spraying and it's non-selective. So if you're looking at an area with like really valuable oak trees, you may and you're really concerned about it, you probably would look at a separate bid for an area if they're really valuable oak trees that you want to protect.
Right. I'm just thinking about those particular oak trees on that particular road and where they sit.
Which road is that?
The ones behind Monterey.
Okay.
If we just exempted that area back there and did everything else and got another method of spraying for that section to save the oaks. The rest of them I don't think would really matter because they're on the airport. The other ones back up to a residential area, not what I'm saying.
But are we spraying that area?
The area behind Monterey Boats?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I thought it was clear cut already.
He mentioned
it is, but a lot of those guys will harvest everything around the larger oak trees because there's not anything of value in them. And I would say that, exempting that area, exempting Unit 1, that's a pretty large area, and, we didn't even know that the vast majority of those trees even existed until we cut down the pines. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they're, great value. It's not like they're the ones that are, it's not like the giant oak tree that's right there by the Piper Cub that's just a monument of a tree.
Are they along the road?
No, ma'am.
Whatever road that is, I can't remember the name of the road.
They're
Is it
mostly
18?
in the center.
Say again now.
They're mostly in the center of
center.
that cut. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There's not,
So once the trees grow, you can't see them anyway.
Pretty much, yes, ma'am. And, some of that natural scrub will grow back up along the tree line anyway, and we're gonna leave a decent buffer this time.
Good.
So
nice.
that Miss Mac doesn't have to worry about that. If she probably won't have to worry about it anyway, but next time we cut them.
Right.
But yeah, that's.
I know she'll
that's
be
the
glad to
intent.
see them planted again.
Yes,
she's
yes,
wanted
ma'am.
to see them planted.
Is there any chance that as they spray that there'll be any drift that would affect trees or vegetation on the adjoining parcels of land that are privately owned?
Yes, ma'am, and that's something that they take into consideration before they spray. Any crop duster that's worth their salt is going to look at the wind direction and wind speed, and calculate for drift in their patterns.
And I'm sure these guys are experts. They know what they're doing. But
How many acres around there are we talking?
109.
That's just the Monterey. Its total herbicide is 344 acres.
Right. So the largest part is the Monterey Bay part.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I said you'd probably have to go out for another bid for it.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that area behind Monterey Boat to me looked like it was clear cutted, and I recall a couple of taller trees out there, but I don't recall, and we can most certainly check, but I don't recall like old heritage oak trees
Yeah.
that are there.
I can't remember them either. I thought it was clear
I
cut as
recall
well.
it being clear cut.
Me too.
It was clear cut, and I mean there are some oak trees out there, but there's none of them like the one that was that's over by Perkins or over by the Piper Cub. There's just trees that you could look at and say like, wow, that's a great looking tree.
Yeah.
Nothing like that in there.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 2024-32.
Do it. I'll make the motion to approve resolution 2024-32.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. To have any further discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item.
Another comment.
Yes,
So,
sir,
Do we
please.
know when we're going to do this, Benton?
I don't have the exact date of execution yet.
So at Tail Wildy, we will, even though we got the motion, even though we're good, we will go look again. We will come back to the council and report to you next time exactly what we saw. Meredith will see it next week maybe. Just to make sure, because I want to be clear in my mind that what I'm speaking about is accurate.
I can't remember any that are close to the road.
Right.
At the very least, which is the ones that the homeowners across the street would be wanting to stay.
And we can tour the other areas too, right? Can
Yes,
we
sir.
get it through there?
Yeah, we can get back there in the golf cart.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll come back to the council with an evaluation of what we saw, and that would maybe ease your mind a little bit. I mean,
Sure,
if we're talking blackjack oaks, scrub oaks, things like that. I don't recall any heritage oaks or beautiful oak trees out there.
The vast majority of them are scrubs.
But that
The vast majority of them are just scrub oaks.
Yeah.
They have grown.
I think so too. I don't think they're live oaks. Miss Jones.
When was the last time that this was done?
The last time that this was done, as in like any kind of herbicide.
I'm just a little worried about my dogs. Are they going to be okay?
Your animals will
dogs
be
are gonna be
fine.
fine.
They spray over deer and
Oh, yeah.
hogs and everything. They're all safe.
Okay.
I've been sprayed with it.
Oh, okay. All right. Then they'll be fine. You look good.
Not Agent Orange or something, right? Okay, so I don't know. We didn't get a vote on that. So all in favor of Resolution 2024-22?
We did.
We did.
We
we
did
did get a
vote?
vote, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
sorry. I missed it. All right, so the comment was after the vote. Sorry. All right, so item G, resolution 2024-33, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, approving the amendment to the State of Florida Department of Transportation Public Transportation Grant Agreement for financial project number 442505-19424 regarding the Williston Municipal Airport design and construction of new general aviation terminal building at Williston Municipal Airport, adding additional funding, authorizing appropriate parties to sign any documents required to execute such amendment on behalf of the City of Williston and providing an effective date. Mr. Stiegel.
Yes, ma'am. So this amendment is probably one of the most simple amendments that we can see from FDOT. They are giving us $150,000 to install an automatic standby generator on the new terminal. This comes from a push from FDOT Aviation to make every FBO that is, a part of the emergency response program capable of being stood up during an event. So, as you know, we're a location for different disaster relief events that happen for the state during these things, and we just had one out there last year. Just had an LSA set up on the runway for half the year, it seemed like. So this is why they are giving us this funding, is to add a standby generator to the FBO so that we can maintain our operations while this is going on.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Stiegel? I'll entertain a motion for resolution 2024-33.
I make a motion we approve resolution 2024-33.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item H, resolution 2024-34, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, approving the interlocal agreement for animal control services between the City of Williston and the Town of Bronson, authorizing appropriate parties to sign any documents required to execute such agreement on behalf of the City of Williston and providing an effective date. Ms. Jones.
Thank you. The City of Bronson approached us, seeing our beautiful new shelter and our amazing new animal control officer, and asked if we would enter into an interlocal agreement. This basically entails that they don't have a place when they do pick up dogs. They have their own animal care and control. They have no place to put them. The Levy County shelter has been full for a number of months, and we would like to keep some kennels open for them. When they do hand over the dogs, we will take care of them and get them adopted out at our under our contracts, and we will do some night stuff. So if they needed us to go out in the middle of the night. Now, we both still have Levy County for dangerous dogs and bites, and especially late at night. But we're going to just work together, and it's a lot closer for us to do that because our animal care and control officer lives halfway. So it's just fine.
I know I was asking him today how he felt about it. He said,
yeah. We'll also be sending whoever our new shelter manager becomes into animal care and control classes so that they could be a backup.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Ms. Jones? We do have with us the city manager from the City of Bronson, Ms. Sue Baudette, and council member, I know it's Tyler, but I don't know the last name. Thank you, Voorhees. Very good. I'm sorry. Who are here with us tonight. If you would like to ask any questions or have any thing you'd like to ask about.
Well, the only thing I was going to ask, it looks like y'all are paying the $833 per month. And that's a deal. So is there still some split in cost or labor? Or is that all included in that $833?
It would all be included. Our veterinary bills right now are free for spays and neuters, and just regular for any other tests or anything like that, emergencies. And then so they'll pay us that fee, and we'll do everything up to adopting them out.
All right, and then next question, about how many dogs y'all normally come up with a month, would you say? And we normally always have that space, correct?
No, we wouldn't normally have that space.
No, but
with,
so our spaces are full pretty much. We're going to leave them 1 or 2 spots open for this.
yes, we also have an agreement with WAG, and we're looking to leave them 4 kennels open for emergencies. So we'll have these guys, we'll give them kennels for emergencies. So it'll almost be like one side is for all of our helpers and the other side is for us. But it's best for us not to keep this kennel full like Levy is. We're going to really just hit the floor and try and get everybody adopted. Now, a lot of the dogs that Bronson finds and that Williston finds, excuse me, are strays that are found. You know, the owners, we find the owners pretty quick. So this is a good spot for them to have a place to go while we're finding the owners. Which is no fee, actually. We're going to charge them a couple bucks for keeping their dog for a couple days.
Sounds beautiful. I get.
Very good.
And there's no reciprocal on our part. Meaning we're going there, but are they ever coming here other than to drop off an animal? Okay. So no coverage of any kind if we might need coverage.
No.
So that's not included in this.
No, we're not. No, they're paying us, but we're not paying them back.
Okay.
Like, that's what the fees are for.
All right. We are paying somebody for weekend coverage from time to time. Or we used to. We may not be with our new person.
We were paying Levy County. If our new person goes on vacation, we'll still have to probably do that.
Because I do see those checks when they come across from time to time. So I'm aware of that.
But that's the kind of the purpose of having that backup that we'd like to have.
Okay. I would just think that we might possibly could do a reciprocal, or give thought to it maybe, because what we have is our person's on vacation or sick or not here. Of course, we have more than one person now, so there is another person who could actually feed animals. But when Levy County covers for us, it's fairly expensive. Because I see that enough to ask a question about what is this for. So, and that was the one thing I was kind of hoping we could cover for each other. But if that's not part of it, I just would say keep in mind that we could amend it to include that at a later date.
Yeah, for them
I don't want to blow this for thinking of that.
I mean, they do. I don't know if Miss Sue wants to.
And you don't have to address it now, but I would just say keep it in mind.
Okay.
Because we're kind of taking their animals and their, and especially if we're going to do in the middle of the night and on evenings call, if needed. Because otherwise their people will bring them to us, right?
Yeah, during the day, the dogs will be brought and dropped off.
But in the evening, if something came up, he would go there.
If we got the call, we would be able to go there. Yeah.
Okay, I see he's got authorization to do that in the interlocal agreement. And like I said, knowing that when he needs coverage, if our other people are not available, in the future maybe we could kind of make it reciprocal.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Okay. Save us a little. All right. Any other questions or comments from anyone? I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 2024-34.
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2024-34.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any other comment? Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nice to have an agreeable neighbor. Discussion with possible action, changing the March 19th council meeting time to 7 o'clock versus 6 o'clock at the request of the supervisor of elections, Tammy Jones, because there is a general election that night. And polls don't close till 7. They really don't want us over here having a meeting at 6 o'clock when they're still having people coming in to vote. So some discussion there.
Nope. Tammy seems to work with us.
We've definitely done it before at her request.
Yep.
Okay, so would you like a motion or just consensus?
Well,
would you like
consensus.
Consensus work?
There's
okay.
no resolution.
Okay, so we have consensus that everyone is in agreement. Okay? I saw there wasn't a resolution. I just didn't know if it was necessary. All right, this time item number 8 is public participation. This is the time again for the second time in this agenda that if you have anything that you would like to add at this point at all, it doesn't matter if it was on the agenda or not, you have up to 5 minutes to talk to us about it. Hello, Mr. Johnson.
Well, hello,
How are you doing?
Oh, it's been a while.
If you will, state your name for the record.
Yes, Marvin Johnson, business owner and vice chair of the Cornelius William Park Committee. I was just wondering, we know our basketball team just repeated, and I haven't heard anything. I don't know if we got some special plan for them. Young men, they were a little disappointed last year because they didn't really get what they thought.
I'm in communications with their coach and
we have talked about
police
it.
chief about trying to get them a little parade set up where we'll go back to their gym and do a net cutting.
Okay.
And I'm waiting on the coach to call me back with a go ahead on what day is best, because last year the cheerleaders was left out, and he's going to try to get something involved.
Yes,
so
sir. Okay.
Once he contacts me back, I already talked to the fire chief and the police chief, and we just ain't come up with the date.
Okay.
And
looks like it's going to be a weekday at around 5:30.
And I'm sure the mayor will do a proclamation. We did one last year.
Sounds good. Thank you, Zach.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
you need to stay with the city. Don't go to the county. But I do appreciate that. I was just concerned. Okay, thank you.
We're definitely working on it. Anyone else at this time?
Anyone online wish to speak up?
Okay, so hearing nothing else, we'll move to announcements. I know we have a few. Ms. Wright, I saw your hand first.
I just want to announce on March the 23rd, the City of Williston, in partnership with Premier Events, will be having Spring Fest here in Heritage Park from 10 to 3. So if you're not doing anything on Saturday, March 23rd, please come out and have a good time.
Will there be information about that on the Facebook page, or how do we find out more about it?
It is on Premier Events Facebook page.
Yep, I've seen it. It's on Facebook. Yep.
They've done good
So-
and posted
Yes.
flyers and stuff.
Are you hooked up with the Chamber Facebook page?
Not yet.
That's where you go like the Chamber Facebook page, and you'll see everything. Pretty much all over the city. We also have a Swanee River League of Cities meeting coming up that we're hosting.
Yes, on March the 28th at 6:00 p.m. at the RV crossing. So if I sent everybody out an invite, if you see it, respond back to me so I can get you all registered, please.
Ms. Sue and Mr. Voorhees, we'd love you to.
That also includes our police and fire department.
Yep. Yeah, it was a great time last time. I know I know the chief's got something coming up that same day, I believe. Is your chief's meeting that day? Do you have your chief's meeting? I think your chief's meeting that same day. They're both on my calendar. Let's put it that way. But your meeting is in the morning, and that meeting is in the evening. So we'd love to have you for dinner. You have no excuse. You can bring your lovely wife. Just RSVP. Yeah, y'all can bring your wives or your husbands or significant others. Just don't.
Will they provide transportation for us back there? like
We're
they've
going
done
to
in the
try to
past?
arrange that. Yes, I'm going to try to get one of our buses to do that from our church.
Now the golf carts are available.
Yes. The
By
city
the public.
manager also has
Go-karts. Let's use go-karts. That'd be more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think currently the trolley's in operation, so we'll be using that.
Good. That's wonderful.
Hopefully it's still in operation.
Thrilled to hear that.
Before we've rented vans, and of course if we can obviously get donated vans, that's great. Golf carts, people love to haul people in golf carts there.
They do.
My understanding, the chief had a very nice ride last time with a golf cart, so individual. So, yeah. So, I know.
I know the chief has an important announcement that I was very proud of to hear. If you don't make it, I will. You forgot your announcement? You've been accepted to the FBI Academy?
Go ahead, Ms.
You come on. I don't know the dates, but I'm so excited. He was one of very many who applied. No, you do it. I don't know the dates. You have to tell me the dates. It's in April, I believe, or May.
I was accepted to the FBI Academy. Thank you.
Which is a very prestigious thing. I don't know if everybody had heard that already.
Well said.
Yeah, you like that, Mayor?
No, I was just really thrilled and very happy to hear that for him. Proud for him to be one of those few selected to attend this year?
Yeah, I had applied to attend the academy, and I got word for a while because I never heard anything back. And then I finally got the call that said I had been accepted to attend the FBI Academy at Quantico, Virginia. So I'm super excited about it. I think travel date's May 5th. We'll be leaving. So I'm super excited for myself as well as the city of Williston. You know, a little small town, Williston is, you know, selected to attend the FBI Academy. I think is a great, great success story to what we're doing here in our city. So thank you.
And you can't get those little credentials behind your name and go somewhere else. You have to remember where you came from. Don't
Yes,
get
ma'am.
any ideas, okay?
I have no plans. I have no plans.
Don't get any ideas. Okay.
So I will add you. That's not an easy appointment to get. You have to go through the local FBI office, have to be approved, and then approved through the Jacksonville FBI office, and on up through the chain of command. So it's not like you just put in your application, they pull your head out of the straw. Most waiting periods are 3 years or more, and so for Mike to be selected is it's a good honor for us.
Very prestigious.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't let you not forget that one. So couldn't let you forget that one. Yeah. Well, I'm very proud. Miss Wright?
I'm sorry, I do have one more. On March the 19th at 10 o'clock a.m., we will be doing the ribbon cutting at John Henry Park for the new, what is it, Donald?
It's the 2 grants for the stormwater. It's the golden shovel, dig in the ground, launch the project that everybody's been fighting for many years.
Yeah. Okay. We also have a mayor's cleanup at Peggy O'Neill, Dahlstrom Park.
No matter what the picture shows, it is Peggy O'Neill's, not the picture.
Of all the beautiful pictures we have of that park, I said, what is that? It wasn't Peggy O'Neill, that's for sure. But I can't remember the date on that.
10 o'clock.
Anybody remember the date? I know it's a Saturday.
We've got it.
April 9th at 9 a.m.
April 9th. I believe that's right. It is. I remembered it was April, but that's all I can remember. Okay. We also have a movie in the park, which is coming up.
Movie in the park on March the 30th. We'll also be having the Easter Bunny since it's right before Easter.
Yep. And that's sponsored by Cornelius Williams Park.
Starts at 5
Friends
o'clock.
of Cornelius Williams Park.
No, I'm sorry. It's going to be at Heritage Park.
At Heritage. It's at Heritage, right?
Yes.
But it's sponsored by them.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And I think free popcorn and drinks.
Yes, so if anybody's
So,
not doing anything.
Bring your chair. They're showing Enchanta.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you need to come to that. I'm also thrilled to say that I have been appointed to the Swanee River League of Cities Board of Directors. So I'm very happy about that. Our first meeting is coming up before our hosting here that we have. Mr. Brevard, do you have anything else?
Just one thing I meant to mention at the staff update, but if you notice, we have a new face up here with us. So Stacy Scarborough is our new administrative assistant, and we'll be filling in when Latricia's not here, doing clerk duties and stuff like that. But she will be assisting both Latricia, myself, and HR. And it took about 9 months. How many months? 9 months, 10 months, 11 months. You know, took a year. So
That means you got the right person.
I think so too. So, you know, she has some of the classes that Latricia has, so I think she's going to be a great asset to the city, and welcome. Thank you for being here.
Wonderful. Okay, Mr. Bishop.
I just want to remind everybody that the Barnwell project is under construction as we speak, and it should be completed hopefully within 60 days. You were talking about the mayor's cleanup, mayor's work day. That's also for the public to come out to assist, and there will be drinks and refreshments also.
Okay, so don't let us forget. Keep reminding us at these meetings. So
And-
I have it on the calendar, but don't let me forget.
And did we skip I, or is it just me?
Say again?
Did we skip I, or is it just me?
Did we skip
We did?
No, we didn't.
Okay, that's just me. Okay.
We did change it to 7 o'clock.
Okay, I'm sorry.
By consensus. We didn't vote, but we did change it by consensus. Okay, any other announcements? Anything else for the good of the cause? Not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We will adjourn at 7:35. Thank you for joining us.